Hi, everyone. Welcome to yet another Woman in Business interview. Thank you so much for joining us today. It is with great pleasure that I welcome Deena and Souha, the owners, the founders of the BeautyCo. So, hi, Deena. Hi, Souha. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi,
Hi.
great being here.
Uh, It's a pleasure. So, could you start with telling us about, the business and, the reason, the whole idea behind setting it up?
Okay, so Souha and I are best friends. We met as bankers, and we used to work very hard, very career-driven when it comes to banking, thinking that's our career path for life. And then we used to work very long hours, which was creating a small problem for us. By the time we left the bank at 8 o'clock or whenever it is that we were leaving, there were no spas that were able to do our nails. So I had to wait till the weekend, and it was just a little annoyance. And then we decided it would be so nice for people to have, especially that there are so many career-driven women now and are putting a lot of time in that, to have a spa that is mobile, that comes to you in your house. This was 14 years ago. The concept didn't exist in this region at all at the time. Nobody wanted to do it. And we kept telling our friends, like, this is such a good idea. Do it, do it, do it. Nobody did it. So Sana and I looked at each other like, we're bankers, What is it? How difficult would it be to open a spa? Let's just do it ourselves. And it took 2 years. It was actually difficult, when you do it especially with our bank background as bankers, we're very used to having SOPs and getting things in order and understanding best practices in the industry and internationally. We were reading and learning and learning and reading, and then we're like, okay, this is something we have to create. So it actually took 2 years.
Wow.
And Mobile Spa was born. And then after we opened, because hygiene was such an important thing for us, and we didn't have a lot of products in the region at the time that are very hygiene driven, we ended up bringing products from around the world. And then we looked at each other, we're like, listen, there are other spas and salons that probably need these products, want these solutions, and don't have them. Let us open a distribution company. And that's when the beauty company was born, or the BeautyCo was born, and started in Bahrain in 2008. And then we opened in Dubai 8 years ago almost, a branch. And we opened in Saudi 3 years ago. Now we're opening in Kuwait. So that's how the business started. It's interesting because it made us feel like life is not a destination, it's a journey. Like she was head of risk by the time she left. We were really career driven, but we didn't realize that we ended up wanting to do this.
From banking to beauty. It's just a journey that we decided to take, and we love it.
And so far, I believe it's been a beautiful journey, and congratulations on opening in yet another country. That's incredible. Yeah. So how does it feel, running a business with your best friend?
It's really fun. It's really fun because work is not work. People scared us. Like people were warning us, don't open a business with your best friend. When money comes into it, you're gonna, it's not gonna work out. But we're so different, and I think that's what makes it.
Our characters are so different. What we bring to the table is so different. I'm like, whatever I lack, she can do, and whatever she lacks, I can do, and we respect each other's opinions. And sometimes we don't agree, but we always call each other the next day. We're like, you know what? I gave it some more thought. What I said no to, maybe if I looked at it like that, and we debate it again and again and again. So it works for us. It works very well. But I don't think it would work for everyone. It's our characters that has helped it.
Yeah,
but when you travel on a business trip with your best friend, it's really, it's really the best thing you could do.
We're lucky.
Oh, that's definitely an advantage. I can imagine. Yeah. So what would you say that, are the lessons that you've learned throughout the time, and maybe some of the lessons that you wished you had known before you started it all?
So for me, I think there's a lot of self-development when you start a business on your own. There's like so much learning that you do, whether it is about yourself, it's about I'm a very different person from what I was 10 years ago. And it's all because of the lessons I learned throughout this journey of owning my business, the leadership skills, the resilience that you have to build up, you know, the confidence that you build in yourself. There's a lot of things that I have learned that were that have developed me personally throughout this journey.
Okay, that's great. So, and you know, sorry, Deena, yeah, you wanted to add something?
No, I was just going to add another thing for me that was a huge development is learning how to build a team, because I think that's if we knew then what we know today, I think would be at least 10 times bigger, because you're only as powerful as your team. And it's the people with you on the bus that are going to help grow the business, take the business with you. And it's their perspective, your perspective. There was a lot of we're doing it ourselves, our way, a lot of huge developments in that area. And I'm very passionate about it. Another area that was really interesting for me personally is that I learned to do what scares me. So a lot of times we shy away from things because I'm scared. Sometimes I'm asked to go speak and I'm like, I'm gonna panic and feel so horrible. I don't want to do it, or speak in Arabic in an event, and every time I pushed myself to do things that scared me, I grew so much more. So it's fear really prevents a lot of growth. And
Yeah, so
those are my perspectives.
And would you say that it's helpful to as well, you know, push yourself outside your boundaries because, you know, you have your best friend next to you?
I think yes. I think I speak to some other entrepreneurs who've done this alone, and a lot of times they turn around, they're like, but you have each other. And it's true. Sometimes I just feel like I can't anymore. Like, this is crazy. When challenges come, and they do come. And then Souha's there to pick it up. And sometimes she's like, I can't do this. And there were times I stepped in, I'm like, you go on holiday, you know, and I'll take care of everything. So we're lucky there as well. I think we're very lucky. We work hard, but we're very lucky. Yeah.
Oh, so beautiful. And it's just so nice after all these years to see that, you know, that friendship, you know, has remained and is so strong and maybe stronger than ever. So it's wonderful.
21 years.
Wow, that's incredible. So, you know, could you give us an example of, you know, as you mentioned, you went through a lot of challenges. So any of the challenges that, you know, you would like to share and the way that you have overcome it?
So I think the expansion cross-border from country to country, even though we are GCC, there was a lot of regulation and legislation and you know, the logistics that we had to figure out. And I think that was the biggest challenge that we faced in the business, because it's like the countries are so similar, but you think they're so similar, and you think you're going to go through the same thing, but they're completely different, you know, when it comes to this. So I think that is how you want to say how we overcame them.
How we overcome we're very good at banging our head on the same problem in every single different way. We don't give up. I think one of the times that somebody was discussing something with us, and we realized, oh my God, that person gave up way sooner than we would have, you know? We don't give up. I remember opening up in Saudi and because we sell cosmetics, and the regulations I was talking about, like every country has different regulations to allow cosmetics in. And in Saudi, we had all the paperwork in order. We've done everything. We registered our products, but our products were not going in still. Like they were stuck at the causeway. They were stuck when we were bringing them in. And we had a warehouse in Dubai, warehouse in Bahrain. We thought we will just send from those warehouses to Saudi. We tried everything. It wasn't happening. We'd like personally go on the causeway and try to understand, why is this like here for 2 weeks? And the costs of it, oh my God, it was horrifying. But because we don't give up, we kept trying different things. So we started saying, okay, let's ship from origin, like from the country where it's manufactured. And then it just cleared. And we're like, oh, for Saudi, we should not be routing through GCC because it becomes more complicated. So we're the kind of people that will just bang our heads on the problem constantly. And it's like, once it's a no, it's like, okay, so what else should I do? Never does it cross our minds that I will surrender. I think we want to learn to surrender a little more now, because I think there's also beauty in that. And we're realizing that there's a lot that can be brought out when you surrender, because it opens up your mind to other opportunities and different things. But when we face the problems, we usually, especially in that case, we had sold products to clients, we had clients waiting for it. I think another way we also overcome problems is when we travel for business, we tend to put a few days that is just sit down and quietly think about things, just away from the problem, away from everything, time off to just be able to see the big picture again, because sometimes you get so drawn into the smaller picture, like trying to get the products in. But then sometimes you need to just see something that's bigger and solves bigger things.
Yeah. So just like take a step back, silence your mind, and then, new ideas, just let new ideas coming in. Yeah, I think that's a great advice and a great example for many. So would you have any, other advice to, young women that would like to become an entrepreneur?
I do, yeah. I think a lot of women assume that it's a disadvantage being a woman, and so, for example, when we opened in Saudi, and I meet people and I say we opened in Saudi, the first question they ask is, how was it opening in Saudi being a woman? And to me, I tell them it was the best experience ever. We're not at a disadvantage. We're celebrated. They're ready to embrace. They're ready to, not Saudi specifically, all our GCC countries now are ready to embrace women. And there's so many, they're empowering women. So it's, they have the space for us, and it was really the best experience ever opening up as a woman. They were ready for us. They had all the platforms ready for us to actually open up. So you're not at a disadvantage. So and that's the mindset.
Yeah, that's really incredible to hear, because I do believe that many people out there are afraid to enter a market as Saudi Arabia, because they believe that they are not ready, and they're not ready to welcome us as women. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Oh, absolutely, they are.
You have something?
For me, it's okay. So my experience opening as bankers and as successful bankers going into our own business, I remember when I resigned from my job, stable job, I've become senior at it, and then people who love you tend to put a lot of fear ahead of you, because they love you, because they are worried about you leaving something so great and doing something, you're leaving your banking career that you've built, and to open a spa and just work there, and then it's what if it fails, what if this happens, what if that happens? So a lot of people put their fears on your dreams, and I think we get affected. I wasn't, because I chose not to be, because I was aware. But I think a lot of people get affected, and I think the mindset is really important. Everyone's on their own journey, and just because somebody else couldn't do it doesn't mean you can't do it. So, and it's that kind of fear is always important for me to discuss, is because it comes from a place of love. People are worried about you. They're your family. They're your closest friends. They're like, "What are you doing? Don't." But I'm glad I didn't listen, because this life is so much better.
Oh, wow. That's an incredible advice. So thank you so much for sharing. And I would say to everyone out there, so don't let fear take over. As Deena and Souha said, never give up, don't surrender. And as I always say, go out there and go chase your dreams. Thank you so much, Deena and Souha, for being with us today and for sharing your story. Thank you.
Thank you, Valerie. It's so good to be in touch with you again, honestly. And it's always good to be working with you and seeing you.
And happy Women's Day.